The Path to the Abyss of Evil is the debut full-length album from Mortem Agmen. This is a Germany-based black metal project, and one that evolved from, like a project that had just they just ended in 2023. They just jumped right into this, and it sounds like they were pretty ready to go. They put out a demo tape in 2023 that outlined a lot of the songs on this record, and did a pretty fine job of it in terms of showing a melodic but also aggressive style of black metal that was centered around guitar melodies and a fairly raw sound for that demo. It outlined the songs in a strong and very clear way, but it wasn't. The production values didn't really give us a hint as to where they were taking it overall. It seemed traditional, but I saw people suggesting it had like depressive black metal influences. I don't think that's necessarily true. More so that this band has some of the German atmospheric and melodic black metal ideas in their work inherently. So it would make sense to point to Lunar Aurora and their early records, not only for the depth of the guitar compositions and the melody inherent, but because one of the members spent a year or so, I think, in that band in particular, around, I think, 2006. So let's cut into a song and get a sense of, well, this is a black metal album, and are there riffs? So do we want to call this melodic black metal? I think the more that the album passes and the more time that we dip into side B and get into the second half, melody and the guitar work is the strongest component of their music. Now, granted, the drummer is quite good here. I think it's pointing to his work first is pretty important because it provides a foundation that everything works within. It's a very tight and impressive performance for a black metal record, and it stands out right away. There's a lot of great German black metal drummers out there, don't get me wrong, but this stood out to me because I spent a lot. There's a lot of German black metal coming out in March, and listening to this, it really stood out for that reason. Otherwise, the guitar melodies, the dual guitar tone, and how it matches and fits is just very strong. It's a very strong showing for. I have an ear a little bit more for the melodic black metal guitar styles of the past, and so I appreciated the complete and arcing statements that came from the melodies on each of these songs. They certainly at least convey a feeling or an atmosphere, but they provide complete statements that work into songs that are appreciable and memorable as they develop. I wouldn't say there's a huge charismatic personality bursting from this album to the point where you're going to remember it versus many others if you just listen to black metal all the time. But this band does stand out for their production values, the way they presented themselves on this album, and the conviction with what you should be able to get a sense for when a black metal band is behind what they're working on, and this feels like they've really backed that up, especially the guitarist and the drummer here. So the vocalist is certainly there in most cases to show up and direct things, but the guitars again are the director here, and that was perfectly fine for me. That fit my own taste. Uh, Granted, I didn't think the lyrics were particularly interesting this time around, and I don't know how long the value of the album will kind of last because the album art has a filter over the front of it that looks artificial up close, but otherwise, a pretty fine black metal record and a surprise here at the end of the month. So worth talking about, worth listening to if this is kind of the niche that you're interested in. And I think any melodic black metal fan will appreciate the guitar work in particular. So check that out. That comes out today, February 23rd. And go ahead and read the review for more of my thoughts as to why it appealed to me.